Welcome all the viewers who have joined. Hudan M, welcome. Welcome all the viewers who have joined. Hudan M, welcome. Welcome all the viewers who have joined. Hudan M. Ali Raza is saying, Akele बैठे हैं. Are you alone? No. People are joining. Evernano, Peter, Pete, welcome. Irfan Bosan says, Assalam, brother. Irfan Bosan, Walaikum Assalam and welcome. Girma Mogus, we are here. I am here too, Girma. Some technical problems were there. That is why I am late. I'm extremely sorry that I'm late and I was due to join more than an hour ago. But some technical problems occurred. That is why I'm late. Hope Vision. Hey dear, I appreciate your updates, information. Hope Vision. Thank you, Hope Vision. Daud Fesiha. Hello, brother. Hello, Daud Fesiha. Hudan says, we love you, brother. I love you too, Hudan. Monas Desta. Salam all. Salam, Mona. Mulugata and Hemanot. Hi, Mulugata. Ruby has also joined. Aaron hit. Proud to be Ethiopian. Thanks, brother, for giving us a false information. Proud to be Ethiopian says that he is thanking me for giving him false information. I don't know which information would you believe if you don't believe me. Kabriab Kidane, hi brother, hi Kabriab Kidane, MD Suhail Rana. Please tell me something about India-Pakistan border agreement. No agreement, just temporary ceasefire. Negoce sile. Ruby says Ethiopians don't like facts. Just one thing, Ruby and other viewers. Sometimes we generalize a lot, I think, and that leads to friction between groups in Ethiopia. Musi Moss has joined. Musi Moss, welcome. I mean, when you people say that Amharas are like this, Tigrayans are like that, Ethiopians are like this, I think generalization, we should not do generalization. It leads to hatred to some extent. All communities have good and bad people. So try not to generalize things, talk about individuals, but not communities. Ethiopia needs bridging of differences. There is already so much polarization. And I see viewers on my channel talking about Amhara as a community, that Amharas are not good, Tigrayans are not good. Well, generalization is not very helpful if you want to analyze a situation. Individuals vary, their temperaments, their characteristics can be different, but we cannot label a community as a whole. That's unfair, I think. Hudan says Tigray people need help. Tigray conflict needs help, viewers. There must be some sort of mediation. I want to hear your comments. At the end of this live chat session, I'll give you an update about some mediation efforts which are underway. A country is rumored to be leading a solution to Tigray conflict. Wilson David James says, thank you for your job. Thank you, Wilson, for acknowledgement. Adam Usman has joined. Welcome, Adam Usman. Mona says, there are bad apples in all. Yes, good and bad apples in every community of the world, in every part of the world. MD Suhail Rana. Is there any chance of war between Pakistan and India? I don't cover this conflict, but I don't see the possibility of an imminent war. Tisfai, hello. Why Eritrean troops want to withdraw from Tigray? Well, that's a news for me if Eritrean troops want to withdraw from Tigray. Right now, neither Tigray nor Ethiopia want withdrawal of Eritrean troops from Tigray. Mosi Moss Lily has joined a film on Phil Mirha Vitisfai Film on Phil says, do you think Tigray should be a country? Filmon Phil says, do you think Tigray should be a country? Tizabi has also joined, one of my critics. Well, Filmon Phil, just 5 days ago, I think, Tigray leaders announced some demands. 8 demands were announced by Tigray leaders through DWTV. These demands were made public, viewers. So they haven't said a word about independence, about secession. This is not the demand of Tigray leaders to be independent. They do not want Tigray to be an independent state. That is why there is no use talking about it. It will lead to further confrontation between ethnic groups in Ethiopia. Amda joined. Amda, hi Amda. Joker, do you think Tigray fighters will free Tigray from ENDF and Eritrean army? This question needs an elaborate answer. Volder Mariam says, don't you think Tigray is a victim? Well, people of Tigray are suffering. Yes, they are being victimized. No doubt about that. They don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have electricity. So they are suffering. No doubt about it. Abdullahi Muhammad, I ask what is the name and your nationality? I informed you about that in the first live chat session, viewers. M.A. Hassan joined, but his message has been withheld. Ruby, even in Addis, they are suffering ethnic profiling. Yes, people are definitely suffering in several parts of Ethiopia due to ethnic hatred. So there must be some sort of mechanism to bridge differences in Ethiopia. Ethnic differences, I mean. Tisfai Halo, why Eritrean troops want to stay in Tigray? That was my question. Well, I think we discussed this question in several. Noor Ahmed Ali has joined. Thank you, Noor Ahmed Ali. We discussed this question about the presence of Eritrean troops in Tigray in several previous videos. Ethiopian government forces do need Eritrea's help in Tigray, viewers, and without Eritrea's help, results of this war might have been different. Now, Eritrean troops cannot withdraw from Tigray at once, because if they start withdrawing, it will lead to increased pressure by TPLF on ENDF troops. That is why we can say that they are caught up in Tigray. If they announce to withdraw from Tigray, this war can spread. Tigray forces might rebound and they might move towards Eritrea border as well. So Eritrea is trying to secure border areas before withdrawing from Tigray. Bizayo Baketa, any advice for Ethiopians if we have to stay united and strong? Well, I think you people know how to judge the situation. You have gone through a lot. But I think that ethnic identity is just an identity. It's not something to be proud about. It's not something that you should use to humiliate someone. or you should feel good about it. It's just an identity. So ethnic differences should lead to more engagement between ethnic groups in Ethiopia. Ethnic identity does not mean that you are better than others, that others are inferior to you. So there must be some sort of mechanism to bring people together. Sarah Baby has joined. Hi. Zabi, what can you tell us about the near fist fight between Abe and Kenyatta in IGAD meeting in Djibouti? Oh, very old question. I think that happened more than a month ago. I heard of some exchange of harsh words. You were saying that there was some fist fight between Kenyatta and Abiy Ahmed. Johannes Kiflehannes has joined. Merga Tefa has joined. Merga Tefa says, do you think Abiy Ahmed will be prosecuted by ICC? Well, viewers, the report which was released by Amnesty International 2 days ago, it mostly mentions Eritrean troops. That Eritrean troops committed war crimes in Aksum. And after that we saw that Eritrea rejected this report. Ethiopian Foreign Ministry also criticized it. At the same time, it said that Ethiopia was ready for cooperation with international investigators about any war crimes in Tigray. So that statement given by Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia, it might lead to distancing between Abiy and Isaias. It's my observation that now when Ethiopia is ready to allow international bodies to conduct investigations into Tigray, it might lead to distancing between Abiy and Isaias. And there might come a time when Abiy might put entire blame on Isaias. That might happen in the future. Izana McConan, do you think white phosphorus was used in Gijit airstrikes? Izana McConan, fires were started, no doubt about it. I have some technical problems. It is disconnecting. University Habira has joined. Well, I was talking about the use of phosphorus bombs by which was mentioned by a viewer. We don't have any evidence that phosphorus bombs were fired through artillery or through airstrikes. But we do have evidence that more than 500 structures were set on fire near Gijit. And it would be a bit premature to say that phosphorus bombs were used. Fires can be started by other means as well. But one thing is for sure, that fires were started. And the purpose of these fires was to stop the advance of Tigray defense forces towards Mekelle. And was today, in a previous video, I informed you that Samre has been once again retaken by Ethiopian National Defense Forces. So almost a week ago, TDF were advancing. They had taken control of Samre. They were close to taking Gijit. Then heavy air strikes were conducted by Ethiopian National Defense Forces. And fires were also started near Gijit. After that, TDF forces and TDF militias had to withdraw, viewers. And now both Samre, Gijit, they are being controlled by ENDF. TDF do not have air power, viewers. They do not have drones, fighter jets, bombers, and they cannot mobilize their heavy military equipment like MLRS, multiple launch rocket systems, tanks, and artillery as well. So that is why they are at a huge disadvantage. It won't be easy for them to come out of mountainous areas and capture big cities because ENDF are equipped with heavy military equipment, including bombers, fighter jets, and drones, at least reconnaissance drones. It will become difficult for Tigray defense forces to counter heavy military equipment and air power of ENDF. And that is the biggest hurdle for TDF in my view. Kabda Elam, are you in Sudan? So now, no Kabda, I'm not in Sudan. Beetle says, back in the live stream. Hello, hello Beetles. Ruby, do you know how Ruby this war has cost hundreds, probably thousands of lives? And human life is the most precious thing on earth. Yes, there has been material damage as well, as Mulugeta Gebrehivot Birhe said in a statement that whatever Tigray had accumulated over the years had been wasted. But apart from material damage, hundreds, thousands of people have been killed. Thousands are in Sudan. Thousands are internally displaced. Just imagine through what sort of situation they are passing. Somebody joined, Vinta Cross joined, Marga Tafa, BB, Voldemariam, Birhane, Mizgabe, TPLF will never give up. Yes, they cannot give up, because if they start giving up, Ethiopian National Defense Forces will close in on the areas which are being controlled by them. So they cannot afford to give up. They'll have to keep on fighting. BB, we need more information on OLA activities in Oromia, brother. BB, I try my best to update you about OLA. And OLA mostly keeps us informed. They always share pictures, videos, whatever they claim, they back their claims with videos and pictures. Tizabi, Lydia G, thank you for the nice analysis. Thank you, Lydia. Evanano says, is Ethiopia still able to continue heavy bombing with planes and drones? Yes, with planes at least, Ethiopia can carry out bombing. And amateurs astrophotography, TDF is retreating. TDF has retreated from Samre, to some extent from Gijit as well. A says there are reports of Ethiopian being mistreated in Sudan. How true is this report? Amhara Mass News Agency made some claims that hundreds of Ethiopians had come back from Sudan, and they were coming back through Matima border crossing between Ethiopia and Sudan. But we haven't seen any news outlet covering this development so far. It's been claimed by only Amhara mass media, but we have seen some news outlets covering the status of Ethiopian refugees in Sudan. They are being welcomed by Sudanese families. New York Times, I think, published a story about that Sudanese, I think the New York Times published a story that Sudanese families were welcoming Ethiopian refugees, they were helping them. So I don't think that there is any truth in this news that Ethiopians are being mistreated by people in Sudan. Ruby says Sudanese are lovely people, proud, progressive. What is most influential ethnicity in Ethiopia? Oromo, Tigray, Amhara. The one says, do you think the Amhara region will be targeted by Oromo and Tigray in future? Interesting question. The way this war is unfolding, it is leading to increased hatred between ethnic groups in Ethiopia. And if there is no intervention, if there is no solution, it will definitely lead to friction and fighting between different ethnic groups in Ethiopia. Iyasu, the Tigrayans were killing Amharas for 27 years. Do you know that? Domenico Palladino. Well, I try to cover all developments. I covered Benishangal Gumas, where Amharas were targeted. I'm covering Oromia. I'm covering Tigray. I am updating you about position of both Ethiopian government and TPLF. So I don't have any vested interest to back any ethnic group in Ethiopia. So whether there are important developments in Amhara region or in Oromia or in Benishangal Gumas or Tigray, I try to focus equally on them. Donkoro Hasbari, Eritrea, the truth. Domenico Palladino, Beatles, will Isaias be put under sanctions for this war, like asset freezes? Yes, Beatles, interesting question. Will Isaias be put under sanctions? Well, Amnesty International is calling for further investigation into the massacre committed in Aksum. I think if a UN-backed investigation is ordered and the UN-backed investigation holds Eritrea guilty, we might see Eritrean president under sanctions. But so far we haven't seen any announcement by the UN to start investigations into Aksum massacre. Ace Ventura, Amhara people have no unity. Say Manuel area, do you think NATO will attack Ethiopia? No, I don't think so. NATO has its own problems. It wants to contain Russia. I don't think it would like to come here. A asks, fighting between Sudan and Ethiopia update. Well, viewers, stalemate is there. Ethiopian forces, Sudanese forces are still locked into this dispute. Amhara militia members are continuing their small attacks on Sudanese farmers, and a small area near Bricht was taken by Ethiopian militia members, I think 4 days ago. Other than that, there haven't been any significant developments. Both the sides are sticking to their positions, and there is no likelihood of any large-scale war so far between Ethiopia and Sudan. But tensions are there. Ethiopia is reluctant to declare full-scale war on Sudan. Sudan, on the other hand, is consolidating its defensive positions in Al-Fashaga. So nothing special has happened in the past few days on Sudan-Ethiopia border. Goy Tom, what's opinion your Ethiopian war? Your question is a bit, it's not clear. The one, do you think a no-fly zone would be wonders for the safety of Tigray people? Who will implement this no-fly zone? This is the most important question. Eritrea shares border with Ethiopia. Sudan shares border with Ethiopia. Who will implement no-fly zone over Tigray? Damtri Eritreans are Jabir Siraj. Do you think the new press in Tigray will travel to Axom? Yes, interesting question, Jabir Siraj. Do you think the new press in Tigray will travel to Axom? As I informed you in a previous video that Ethiopian government has allowed some international news outlets like BBC, Al Jazeera, Reuters, Financial Times, New York Times to visit Tigray. But it's still unclear which areas they will visit, and can they visit areas without any restrictions. So that remains to be seen. I think if international journalists are just confined to A2 towns and highways like Mekelle, Adigrat, Adwa, Axom, Share, if they visit only these areas, they will never have complete picture of Tigray. Mekelle is working fine. Nothing is happening in Mekelle. If you visit Mekelle and you say that things are going fine here, there is no war here, you will be unfair in your analysis. Build your analysis after visiting Abayadi and Abagna, after visiting Sambre, Gijit, Dansha, Humera, Koram. So those areas where conflict is underway, where fighting is underway, or where the areas which are being controlled by TPLF fighters, I think international journalists should try to cover those areas. After visiting those areas, they'll be in a position to talk about this war in a convincing manner. Otherwise, visiting just Mekelle and saying that war is over, that Mekelle is fine, that there is nothing happening in Mekelle, I think if journalists do that, that would be unfair. Hagos says, do you think Menelik has joined? As an Ethiopian, I find the comments on here funny. Zabi, Zakaria, is Sudan Air Force stronger than Ethiopian Air Force? We need a very detailed comparison to answer this question. Damtree, where are Somalian troops in Tigray? And I read a lot of comments accusing you of being a TDF supporter. How true is that? Someone is asking that am I a Tigray People Liberation Front supporter or not? Well, actions speak louder than words. And if I just keep on saying that I am not backing TPLF and I am neutral, it won't make any difference. What matters is the content of my videos. You are the judge. I try my best to speak about developments happening on both sides. Since Tigray forces are now trying to fight back, that is why I cover them more. Secondly, ENDF are almost silent about what is happening in the battlefield. You rarely see a statement from ENDF about war fronts. They are quiet. On the other hand, Tigray Defense Forces are continuously issuing statements. Tizabi, why Joe Biden talked with Kenya on Tigray issue? Why not with Abiy? Tizabi, I would like to reply to your question at the end of this live chat session. As I said in the beginning that we have an update about a mediation effort which is underway to resolve Tigray conflict. And you are right on the money, yes. Kenya is trying to intervene. Hagos Gabrovelde, do you think Abiy Ahmed will run away to UAE? I don't think so that he will run to UAE. Manilik says Kenya is welcome to mediate. Anyone who wants to resolve this conflict is welcome to mediate, I think. A says, why has the West kept silent when Muslims were prosecuted in Myanmar but loud in Tigray? Well, West has its own problems. COVID-19 is inflicting losses on world economies. World economies are taking a serious hit all over the world, viewers. And interventions need money. As I said in previous live chat session, that interventions need money. If UN decides to intervene in Tigray, UN will need money. And UN is short of funds right now. Unite for Peace says Tigray people wins in his own land. Magatism join, Ethiopia will win and Crusaders will soon reach Africa. Unite for Peace, Africa is nothing. Adimus Nohi. Let me now sum up this week's developments about Tigray, Ethiopia-Sudan border, and Somalia. A good news for Somalia that negotiations between Somali Prime Minister Roble and opposition parties succeeded, and on Friday the protest which was due to happen in Mogadishu by opposition parties was cancelled. So things are moving in the right direction in Somalia. As regards Sudan-Ethiopia border dispute, stalemate is there. Ethiopian fighters are continuing their strikes, their small attacks on Sudanese farmers, but no considerable, no significant development and no likelihood of any large-scale war so far. Thirdly was Tigray. In Tigray, TDF tried to advance towards Mekelle. TDF captured Samre, it was on its way towards Gijeth, but heavy airstrikes were conducted by ENDF and TDF had to retreat. And these airstrikes showed that TDF are at a disadvantage in terms of heavy military equipment, in terms of air power, in terms of fighters, bombers. That is why it's not going to be easy for TDF to retake towns and cities from ENDF. And lastly, viewers, reportedly Joe Biden, president of the US, talked to the president of Kenya, Kenyatta, and in the conversation Tigray conflict came under discussion. And reportedly the US wants Kenya to play a role in the resolution of Tigray conflict. A very positive development. Kenya can play a role, I think. Kenya is in a position that it can play a role. So keeping our fingers crossed, let's see what happens. Kenya might do something for the resolution of Tigray conflict. Thanks for watching, viewers. Thank you all of you for joining. It was wonderful talking to you. Thank you. See you in the next live chat session.